President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
That was Vice President Kamala Harris presiding over the presidential election certification yesterday. She's one of just a handful of people in U.S. history to certify their own defeat. Harris has remained relatively mum on her next steps amid speculation that she may consider another presidential bid or pursue a political role in her home state of California. For more on this, we're joined by Nii-Quartelai Quartey. He's the author of Kamala, the Motherland, and Me, and host of a More Perfect Union radio show and podcast, and a professor at Pepperdine University. Thanks so much for joining us. Off the bat, what's next for Harris politically and personally, do you think?
Well, good morning. I think what's next for Vice President Harris politically is finishing strong. Finish the job that you have strong. This week we have the state funeral for former President Jimmy Carter. The vice president, according to some of my sources, may be doing some international travel, reassuring some of our allies as this transition of power takes place. And of course, January 20th, making sure that that transition of power happens with honor and with dignity. And so I think in the near term, she's got a big job to finish. But then afterwards, I think, she goes home to California and processes all of this. This is a lot that's happened in the last 150 days of her time in office. And so I think she'll take some R&R before getting a lay of the land and deciding whether or not a run for governor in California or another run for the presidency might be in the cards.
Do you think another run could be in the cards for the presidency?
Yeah, I mean, there are some polls out there that suggest that she still has some popularity among Democrats nationally. Remember, she won nearly 75 million votes. That's a lot of votes, second to only President Biden. And so 4 years in politics is a long time. But is she able to reinvent herself enough? Is she able to cut her own path, in the words of President Biden, such where she could give it another go? It's certainly on the table. But according to my sources, Vice President Harris hasn't even had a moment to really seriously think about this next step.
Yes, certainly busy. Nii-Quartelai, what did you think about how the vice president handled the certification yesterday?
I think Vice President Harris handled the certification with honor, with dignity. What a difference 4 years makes. It looked very different than January 6th, 2021. And I think Democrats, even some moderate Republicans and independents will remember this. The question is, will they remember it long enough for her to give it another go? Or will she just be cemented in history as having done her job in a decent and respectful manner? And let me just also add, in spite of the microaggressions that we've seen towards Vice President Harris, not just during that certification, but even the spouses of a senator not willing to shake her hand, yet and still, like Dr. Maya Angelou says, she rises.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. Hopefully she gets some R&R too. I'm sure she's tired. Her future, we'll be watching. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, thank you so much.